All right, guys. So it is officially 12:05 right now. My name is Anna Sharp. I'm the Community Engagement Manager at Livable Buckhead. Our Better Habits, Better You Challenge started on Monday, and kind of as a piece of that, we wanted to make sure that we were providing content that was valuable for our work from home workforce and even our workforce that's in the office, but kind of having to deal with the stress of everything within the pandemic. And we thought one of the best ways to kind of add value to your lives is healthy lunch meals and options that make sense for y'all. So we have partnered with a very accomplished chef. So Chef Herzig is here, and she is going to lead us in cooking this afternoon. So we're really grateful to have her each week through this 4-week challenge. And I am going to let her take it from here. Additionally, if you guys have questions throughout this cooking class, Katie is moderating the chat box and she will be interrupting. And please pay attention to the chef and not me. I will be following along in my own kitchen at home, and I will probably drop something or fumble. So I'll be on mute, and the chef is who you should follow. So thank you guys so much for being here this afternoon.
Thank you for the welcome, Anna, and I'm honored to be here and support the Take a Break Challenge with Livable Buckhead. When I was first contacted about this, we talked about, getting people up from outside of their desk. And one of the things that I think is really important, whether you're cooking along today or you decide to join us for the next 3 weeks after this, you need to think about taking a break from behind your desk to eat your meal. That's like one of the worst things you can do is sit at your computer. I'm guilty of it as well, and eat your meal. So I encourage you, whether it's today or the next 4 weeks, get out from behind that desk, cook a little something for lunch, and then enjoy it at a table or out on your patio, weather permitting, etc. One of the things that we're cooking today for the shrimp with avocado cream pasta is the pasta. So it usually takes about 15 minutes to boil the water. I started that while we were waiting. But one thing I want to tell you, a little tip that I think is really nice to enjoy, is to throw some fresh herbs along with the salt into your pot of boiling water. That gives the pasta a little bit more of a flavor while it's in the boiling water itself. So since that's going, we're going to go ahead and start with the pasta first. Some people like to break up their pasta. I like to have fun with my food, so I tend to keep the noodles, the string noodles, all in one, so that then you can twirl them around on your fork. And it also helps better with a cream sauce and your sauce to have that cling to the noodles. So those are going to get started right there. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to start making our avocado cream sauce. There is going to be a little bit of noise here because I'm going to use this little mini food processor. You can use a blender or a mini food processor to do this. I like this because it doesn't take up a lot of counter space, and it's real easy to use, real easy to clean. So I'm going to go ahead and add those ingredients, which is the spinach and the basil. Add those, and forgive me as I put my back to you. I apologize for that. I also want to put a timer on your pasta. I'm sorry about that. So usually angel hair takes between about 8 and 10 minutes. We're going to add the cream and the avocado. And the salt and pepper. So here goes a little bit of noise.
We do have a couple questions already if you're able to answer while you.
Sure. Definitely.
One question was if we are able to send out the full recipe, step-by-step recipe after this. Just want to make sure that everyone can get the full recipe.
Yes, and that was posted on the website, was it not? On the Livable Buckhead website?
The ingredients and just the cooking, the tools needed.
Oh, you didn't post the steps to how to make it?
I guess we will add that.
But anyway, one thing I want to say to anybody that's watching today, or if you're watching this afterwards via the YouTube link or whatever, you can always email me anything. I post a lot of what I cook every day, just photos and things, but I don't post recipes unless somebody wants them, and I'm very happy to share those. So don't hesitate to ever reach out, whether it's via social media or my email address. So I wanted to scrape that. I wanted to scrape that down a little bit off the sides to see where the consistency was, and we're almost there. And that's perfect. And as you can see, it didn't take very long at all. Minus the conversation, it probably took about not even 2 minutes. So we're going to set that aside. We're going to check our pasta over here, see how that's going.
Our other question was if someone forgot half and half or wanted to try using a different cream, is there a substitute for half and half that you can use?
Certainly. You could use any form of a dairy type product for this. The half and half really makes it a little bit more healthier than if you were using a whole milk product or a fat-free. Fat-free milk product is also going to be have a little bit more watery content to it, and you want that richness that you're going to get with the avocado cream. But yes, you could use. I wouldn't recommend any flavored, I wouldn't recommend almond milk or anything like that, but you could definitely use milk. You could use the soy milk unflavored, and you could use, some people might want to use crema, Mexican crema. That would also work as well. So great question, by the way. Keep them coming. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, yes.
Sorry, someone asked if you could repeat what was in the blender. Avocado and cream, and that's
okay,
it?
I'm sorry, and I apologize. I thought you guys had the recipes to go along, but in that is 1/4 cup of spinach stems. I always remove the stems on spinach. That's a personal thing for me because I think they're very spiny. Do not throw them away because you can use them in chopped, you can chop them up and use them in other sauces or in salads, but for this type of a sauce that we're making. Also, it's a 1/4 cup of fresh basil, roughly chopped, and then the 1/4 cup of the half and half, a half of an avocado chopped, and then 1/4 teaspoon of salt and 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. How's that?
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, so we're gonna, I've already added the olive oil to the saute pan. So right now, the next step we're gonna do is heat that up a little bit, and we're gonna add the sweet red pepper that I've already cut into matchsticks. The one thing I wanna remind people about when you're preparing your mise en place, and it's always great, if you don't know what mise en place is, it's a French term for everything in its place. And it's very standard in a kitchen, and for us home cooks, because I cook in my home every day as well, it's really nice to have everything in one place so that you're not going back and forth to your pantry or to the refrigerator, and it just makes life a lot easier in the kitchen, particularly when you're on a short time frame like today we are at lunch. And then so you would just cook these into the matchsticks like this, and then we're going to add those to our oil over here at the stove. You're going to want to cook those for about 2 minutes. All right, so our pasta is almost done, and what we're going to do is we're going to drain that, and we're going to put it right back into the saute pan because we're going to add the lemon juice and then some salt and pepper to that for the pasta. And we're going to set that aside before we add it back into our shrimp that we're going to cook. The one thing I want to talk to you about a little bit about pasta is, since we're eating this meal today, you never want to rinse your pasta when you're serving it hot. There's no need to do that. However, if we were to be using this as a cold item for like a pasta salad, you would want to rinse them thoroughly. so to stop that cooking process so that the other ingredients that you're going to add to it don't cook along in the heat of that pasta. If you ever have pasta left over and you want to just leave it in a container up to 7 to 10 days, please put a date on it, mark it with a label, but also just put a little bit of olive oil in your container so that that helps it from sticking together. You can reheat already cooked pasta by just dropping it into a pot of boiling water and blanching it for about 2 minutes. Check these peppers. And now we're going to add our shrimp. So I recommended in this recipe a large shrimp. So the ones that I purchased were jumbo shrimp. Ideally, if you can get fresh shrimp from a farmer's market or from like Buford Highway farmer's market or seafood market, that's the best way to go. But for convenience sake, most of the time we only have the frozen shrimp to go by. Please always recommend to yourself to thaw the shrimp, excuse me, under refrigeration. You can do a quick thaw under cold water, but for food safety purposes, it's better to do it under refrigeration. So you're going to want to give yourself a day or so ahead of time to do that. But I also usually myself, when I buy shrimp, I try and get it deveined and peeled ahead of time. These were not, and it removes one extra step. You're going to pay a little bit more money for that extra step that they did in the manufacturing facility or in the fish market, but it does make your life a lot easier. So we're going to add those to our bowl, into our saute pan.
It really is worth it to get them already peeled and deveined.
Yes, it is. So we're going to cook these about 2 to 3 minutes on each side. You want to get them opaque so that you have a little bit of pinkness to them, but you don't want to overcook them, and you certainly don't want to undercook them. Always have a good set of tongs because that helps you split them a lot easier than a spoon will. One other thing that I highly recommend in any kitchen is that you have what we call tasting spoons. I've been a chef now for 35 years, and I've cooked with a lot of different really great chefs around the world and young chefs, training them through. And I can't tell you how many times I go into a kitchen to work with somebody and they say, "Hey chef, what do you think? How do you think this looks?" And I'll say, "It looks great, but how does it taste?" "Oh, I don't know, I haven't tasted it." So as you continue to prepare your meal, you always want to take, and a disposable teaspoon is the best way to go, because then you can just throw those out or recycle them, and taste as you go along, because you do want to be able to change the levels of whether it's salty or not enough salt or not enough pepper, and go from there. So one thing we're going to do we have not done it yet, is on this avocado cream, is we're going to taste that. Anna, if you're doing this, I would like to know how yours is tasting.
I need to get a spoon out, and then I decided to cook all of my pasta, so I'm a little behind on my pasta right now. That's okay.
No worries. That's good. Our pasta is done, so I'm going to take that off the stove and drain it. If you don't have a small colander, I would recommend investing in one. You can even get them at the dollar store or anywhere. But they're really great to have rather than having to pull out the big one every time you're cooking for a smaller number. We're going to add this back to the pot. This, if you recall, I added some herbs. I added some fresh basil to that. And it's not hurting anything, but I usually pull those stems out after I've cooked them and add them to my composting bin. We're going to put that back over here.
I also have my composting bin right behind me too, so
yeah,
I'm following along.
I have a little bowl that I keep on the counter, so then at the end of whenever I'm done preparing or throughout the course of preparing, I empty it into that so that we can keep the counter, you know, less space, less things on the counter is good. But yes, if you're not composting, I highly recommend that you do to help Mother Earth. And there's several organizations throughout the Atlanta metro area, but myself, my husband and I, we use Compost Now organization, which I believe is also a partner of Livable Buckhead, correct?
Yes, they definitely are. And that's what I'm using now. This is my own compost bin that I keep next to my trash and recycling container in my kitchen. And then I do typically the same thing where I gather everything in a bowl and compost it when I'm done cooking. And it's super easy. They pick it up twice a month, and my trash is reduced dramatically by using it. So the only challenge I have is my husband remembering to compost. So.
Yeah, we compost every week, and there's times that we can probably compost 2 bins in a week, just based on the amount of cooking that we do, and certainly the amount of cooking we've been doing since we've been at home more often. So our shrimp is looking really good. We've probably got about 2 more minutes on that. I wish you could smell it through the camera. A little scratch and sniff would be nice because it smells so great. Okay, and after I added the lemon juice to the already cooked pasta, I've added the pepper, just a little bit of pepper and salt. So we're going to go ahead and taste that just to make sure if we want to adjust that at all. That's perfect. Got a nice lemony flavor to that. Okay, our shrimp looks great. I'll bring this over here just so you can see it a little bit better. I don't know, can you see that?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take our sauce mixture, add it to the shrimp just to kind of heat it through with the heat off. You don't need to keep that on. Another good tool to have is like a little baby spatula. Those are really handy because they fit into crevices a lot better. And then we're going to add our pasta into this. We're just going to stir this all up, get it nice and coated. And we're ready to serve it. You want to get a little bit of the pasta in the bottom. And then add your shrimp and your peppers.
And have you already added the extra spinach and tomatoes, or does that come after the plate?
I did not. I did not. There's a kitchen plug right there. But I'm going to do that right now. So what you want to do, these tomatoes came from our garden. You want to cut those in half, 1 cup. I used both the red and the yellow grape tomatoes. Okay, so we're going to go back. This isn't going to really disrupt anything at all, just because we're going to add the spinach. I do need to turn the heat back on a little bit. And the tomatoes. And we're going to let that heat for about 2 minutes. For about a medium heat. So while that's cooking down a little bit, we'll talk about a couple of other things. First and foremost, anytime that you're cooking in the kitchen, you want to talk about food safety. Always washing your fruits and vegetables before you get ready to use them. And always using cutting boards that are color coded so that you can remember that something like this for green, and we'll talk about over the next couple of weeks some of the other colors that are used. Green is usually for vegetables, red is for raw meats, chicken is blue, cooked chicken, and things of that nature. But it's really important to remember to always clean your surfaces and your foods, because a lot of times, I can't tell you how many times I've been into even a bar establishment, and I see them cutting lemons, and I ask, did you wash those? And even a bartender, they don't think that you have, they think the inside of the lemon is protected, which it is, but you always want to wash all your fruits and vegetables. One of the other things that you can think about as you're trying to give back to the community is to participate in a CSA, which is a community supported agriculture. I work with or take advantage of a farm that's out of Woodland, Alabama, that delivers here into Atlanta to a lot of the restaurants as well as a lot of the homeowners and consumers themselves, and it's called More Farms and Friends. And they have a beautiful box, and you can get that box weekly, or you can get it every other week. They don't commit, you don't have to commit to them for an entire year or 6 months. You can buy as you need it. And they have beautiful seasonal items. So I think it's remember to do that. And as I mentioned before, there's several farmers markets throughout the Atlanta area, as well as like Buford Highway Farmers Market, or for those that live over in the DeKalb area, DeKalb International Market as well. I'm just going to check on our tomatoes and spinach along with the rest of our stuff. So that's cooking down nice. Set that aside. Does anybody have, are there any other questions as we finish this?
Not coming through the chat box right now, but
Okay.
remember, yes, if you have any questions, please send them in the chat box.
Okay, so we're gonna plate this now. Pasta.
Okay, we do have one question from Shelly. Can we add other veggies like mushrooms? Couple things coming through. A substitute or add other veggies like mushrooms.
Yes, you could definitely add other vegetables to this. I chose this recipe for a couple of reasons. One, that it was quick and easy. Two, that these are vegetables that are readily available at this time of the year. Particularly, I had them in my home garden, the tomatoes. But any vegetables are going to work with this. A lot of squash would be great right this time of year. And you see how pretty it is? You want to clean up your plate, particularly when you're dealing with noodles. And then also what you can do is make what we call a Basil Chefinate. And you just take some of the basil leaves, you roll them up like this, and then you finally make little ribbons. And it makes for a nice decor. We're going to add our cheese to this. And then we're gonna sprinkle the Basil Chefinate, and there is our lunch for today.
That looks amazing. I'm very jealous of Scott right now. Well, another question.
I do have a taste tester in the house today because he's Scott Cantrell with Livable Buckhead is here helping me do the technology side of things today. And was there another question?
Yes. One question is, can you use other herbs besides basil to make a pesto?
Yes, you can. And actually, that's a fabulous question, and thank you for bringing that up. I discovered a recipe during C19 is what I call this pandemic, C19. And it's a whole lemon pesto where you take the whole lemon, use your little mini food processor, and you add your garlic and your oil to that, salt and pepper, and it's amazing. I also, when I go to the farmer's market and buy carrots with the top still on, you can take and make carrot top parsley. And because again, the idea is getting that flavor, using the whole carrot from the root to the stem, but also minimizing food waste, and you get such a nice flavor from that as well. You could use cilantro pesto I've made. I'm trying to think of all the other ones we made, but we really try to use everything that we can. So great question. Thank you for bringing that up.
Thank you. Those sound amazing.
Any other questions? I think we're running out.
Yeah, we're almost done. Anna, how's your?
Yeah, so I think mine turned out pretty well. What do you think? How did I do? Can you see?
Yum.
I bet it's amazing. I bet it's amazing, Anna. Because you know what? Anything that is cooked from the heart is going to taste wonderful. So just remember that. And, you know, practice makes perfect. Even now, after all these years as a chef, I learn something new every day from other chefs. And I know there's a few you guys, the girls out there online today. So thank you for your support. And I'm sure I'll take some hits from that mistake I made for getting the spinach. But I think it's going to taste pretty great. Please tune in next week. We're going to be making a goat cheese polenta with garlicky spinach, tomatoes, and mushrooms. And we will make sure that you have all of those steps and everything online from the website. Thank you for being here today.
Yes, thank you so much. I just had my first bite. It is delicious. So I hope everyone else enjoys their dish. If you did make it along with us today, please tag us on social media or shoot us an email so we can share it. We'd love to see it. And then additionally, I just wanted to mention that we will be posting on our Instagram and Facebook the ingredients too. So it is on our website, but it will also be on social media. So you'll have different avenues. And in the email that we send, we'll have ingredients and step-by-step so you can follow along next week. So thank you guys so much for joining us. Hopefully that wasn't too much of a time suck, 30 minutes. I think we knocked it out. That was pretty awesome. So thank you, Chef, so much for leading us. And even for me, that was very simple. So I appreciate it. And then Katie, did we have any last questions?
No, I think we're good. Thank you so much. This was awesome.
Keep on eating. Thank you.
Last item, this video will be on YouTube, so you can view it and share it. So if you want to rewatch while you cook later this evening, please do. All right, that is it. Thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of your day.